Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to New Earth's Healthy Hustle. Good to have you. This is Kevin Larson, Vice President of New Earth, and I'm really grateful to join you this afternoon to talk to you just a little bit about how we can be a little bit better every day. That's the secret of the healthy hustle, and today we have a cool topic to get into. Today we are going to talk about how science can help you stick to your New Year's resolutions. Remember those things? We made them a little while ago. And as January comes to a close, maybe you're checking in on how your 2022 resolutions are going. How is that? 2022. Does it roll off the tongue yet? And if you're part of the approximately 80% of us who make resolutions, it's possible that maybe you haven't started or have probably given up on them already, right? Percentage-wise, many of us have. That's okay. That's okay. There's still hope. Don't give up just yet. Whether you are looking to start eating more healthy whole foods, drinking more water, exercising regularly, or do something else entirely. At its core, your mission is to break old habits and to replace them with healthy habits. It's the way this works. But for the majority of us, this is often easier said than done. Why? Well, because by nature, all of us, are creatures of habit. We just are. It's the way we're built. We all tend to go to bed and wake up around the same time every day. Even if you have a weekend routine, you'll do the same thing for 5 days, say something different for 2, and then back to 5, right? It's just how we program ourselves. We follow the same routine, maybe to get ready in the morning, or take the same route to work every day, without even really thinking about it, right? What's more, many of us also create our own habits around things like eating, exercising, socializing. The list really goes on and on and on that, right? Just because these habits are difficult to break and reform does not mean that it's impossible. In fact, it can be a lot easier if you understand the science of a habit. What is a habit as far as your brain recognizes it? Well, let's talk about that. As you've probably already gathered, a lot of your day-to-day life is a series of habits. In fact, it's estimated that something around 40% of your actions are habits rather than conscious decisions. Isn't that intriguing? Think about all those things that you do without thinking about them, right? Like pouring yourself even a cup of coffee in the morning, or locking the door as you leave the house, right? How do we form these habits, this habitual nature, right? In simple terms, through repetition. But it gets a little more complicated than that. So your brain is a very inordinately powerful organ. And one of its many abilities is to recognize activities and patterns that are important in your daily life, and to make them easier for you to do. This is where repetition comes into play. Essentially, when you do the same thing over and over again, your brain believes that activity is important. So it sets out on a mission to rewire itself to make that activity easier, right? It's trying to save energy. Without getting too complicated, this rewiring involves taking the actions needed for a specific activity and grouping them together to create a shorter neural pathway. That's what that's called. That wiring is a neural pathway. And for instance, you could consider the simple habit of brushing your teeth, right? You have to add toothpaste to your toothbrush, brush your teeth, spit and rinse, etc. Maybe you go from, the back right, you do the bottoms, and then, the top right and over to the left, and, you do your tops, right? Have you noticed? Check yourself. Do you notice that you brush your teeth relatively the same way every time? Well, before it becomes a habit, the neurons in your brain fire off a different signal for each of these steps. But as you continue to brush your teeth regularly, it groups those steps together. If you want to notice a difference, pay attention to how a child brushes their teeth and how a grown-up brushes their teeth after making it a habit. This grouping allows those neurons to only fire at the beginning and end of the process, which makes the activity considerably easier for your brain and your body to complete. And your brain goes through this same rewiring process for the creation of all habits, which means the key to helping yourself create sustainable, healthy habits is helping your brain recognize that these actions are an important part of your everyday life. Now, of course, that can be things you want to get rid of as well, but it's easier when you replace them. So, making these healthy habits is worth the effort, I promise, right? But it is easy to get discouraged when it takes more than a week or 2 or 3 or a month for your brain to figure it out, which is why so many people give up on their resolutions so early in the year. But thankfully, there are 3 simple tricks you can use to help your brain adjust just a little bit faster. So let's take a look at them, okay? First, use cues. When it comes to forming a new habit, repetition and consistency are key. But during the hustle and bustle of your day-to-day life, it is all too easy to forget about the habits you are trying to form. This is where cues can help. In this case, cues are triggers that serve as the driving force to get up and do whatever activity you're trying to make a habit out of. This can be anything from an alarm on your phone to a location or even the time of day. For example, if you're trying to establish a habit of working out regularly, you could use time cues to let your body know that it's time to go. It's crunch time, right? To do this, ensure that all of your workouts are at the same time every day. You could choose to work out before getting ready for work, go for a walk on your lunch break, hit the gym on your way home in the evening, doesn't matter. But for the time being, whatever you choose, stick to that time. Make it always at the same time. And after a while, when that time of day rolls around, you'll start to notice that your mind and body are already ramping up to go. It's a force of habit. Second, reward yourself. Your brain and you like to feel good. This means it's more likely to adopt a new habit and put it on autopilot if it's associated with a positive feeling, which is why it's important to reward yourself for your progress, no matter how big or small, right? But the rewards you choose are important. It might be counterintuitive to reward yourself with ice cream when you're trying to build healthier eating habits, right? There's an abundance of other rewards that you can use that won't conflict with your end goal. For example, you could reward yourself by, purchasing a new outfit, right? Or a video game, if you play video games still, right? Staying consistent for a week, you get yourself a little prize. Right? Alternatively, things like a trip to the movies, extra time for yourself, maybe self-care activities, even taking a bath, taking a long, warm bath, right? Those are great rewards. Everyone's different. So it's important to test that reward system to see what works best for you. And in doing so, you might even get to know the things that you like best. And last, whether you realize it or not, your emotions play a huge role in the formation of new habits. If you are not emotionally invested in making positive changes to your lifestyle, no amount of reasoning with yourself or your brain will get you to commit. It's not going to happen. You'll always be able to find excuses to slip up just this once. Or, okay, but not this week. I'll start next week. Which not only hampers the repetition of the habit, right, but also can lower the amount of energy your brain is going to use to learn the new routine. So with that in mind, think long and hard about the New Year's resolutions you're choosing and how you actually feel about them. If you're dreading the process to reach the end goal and are doing it because it's trendy or everybody else is doing it, you're not giving yourself a fair chance at success. Choose goals that you are passionate about and truly believe will change your life for the better. You got to believe it to achieve it. Those are the ones you're most likely to see through to the end. See, that's one of the times where your parents' cliche fits. It works. So, chances are many of our goals for the new year involve developing some sort of healthy habit. And now that you understand the science behind a habit, revisit those resolutions. If you're looking to give yourself another leg up on your health and wellness goals, consider joining a supportive community. New Earth's 30-Day Gut Reboot is a great support group. This group is focused on helping you achieve your wellness goals by providing you with a community of like-minded people that you can learn from and be accountable to. As an added benefit, you'll also learn how to keep your gut healthy, which in turn improves your overall well-being. And that, folks, is the Healthy Hustle for today. Thanks a lot for taking the time to be with me. Please share this with your team, with your group, with your friends, anyone that you feel like could benefit. And with that, we'll talk to you again next time.